Hey, how y'all doing? This is Hunt 919 Truth Sports coming to you with another segment. Let's go ahead and get right into it. And this is a new segment that I am doing called Was It Worth the Transfer from the Colorado Buffs? And this is where I cover about 10 players that I have been covering all season. Some I start covering towards the end of the season on a weekly basis. And I'm trying to see where I'm going to do. This is strictly football numbers. Some of them may have left for other reasons. They just didn't like the program. It could have been mental health, etc., etc. This I'm only breaking down through the numbers and trying to see if it was worth them transferring. This one that I'm doing, this one on is Dylan Edwards. Everybody knows who Dylan Edwards is. He transferred to Kansas State. Um, so let's go ahead and get right into his numbers. Why he was only at Colorado for a year. So his rushing numbers at Colorado was in his first season was 76 carries for 321 yards. 4.2 average per rush, and he had one rushing touchdown. Now he did lead his team in rushing that year with only 321 yards. While at Kansas State, as far as him rushing this past year, he had 56 rushes for 350 yards on the 6.3 average and three rushing touchdowns. Okay, so he's doing a little better on a lot less carries. Reception wise, while he was at Colorado, he totaled 36 receptions for 299 receiving yards. He averaged 8.3 yards per catch and four touchdowns. Now, while at Kansas State, he had 17 receptions for 106 yards, receiving yards, 6.2 average per catch, and one touchdown. Now, he also added special teams. While at Colorado, he had five kick returns for 105 yards, no touchdowns. He had two punt returns for 19 yards and no touchdowns. While at Kansas State, he had 15 kick returns for 298 yards and zero touchdowns. He had 10 punt returns for 140 yards and one touchdown. Now his team did finish 8-4. They finished eighth in the Big 12. They was ranked up until the last week of the season, and they became unranked. I think they lost to Iowa State at the end by a touchdown. Um, so was it worth him transferring from Colorado? And I'm going to say yes. I think his numbers are slightly better, but it was more like a. I can't say yes. I can't say no. It was more like a lateral move to me. Um, because it still didn't. I still don't think he's doing exactly what he wants to do. I think Dylan thinks he's a starting running back, which you should think that way. Um, but I'm just go by the numbers. By the numbers, I think I'm gonna say yes, but at the same time, I'm gonna say it was a lateral move. I know it's kind of sounds kind of confusing, but I don't think he got any better, and I don't think it got any worse for him, to be honest with you. But he's at Kansas State. The team did well. He did, he did pretty good. And they are using him as far as a receiver from time to time. They're using him to run the ball from time to time, and they're also using him on special teams from time to time. I will say this: Dylan did have a kick return. I think it was against Washington State last year, and they called it back on some phantom call that should have never been called. You could just tell it was against Colorado last year, big time, but it didn't count. So it is. I just wanted to make sure I gave him his credit. So it is what it is. I would like to see what you all think in the comment section. Do you think it was worth a transfer for him? And remember, you have to think outside of being fans of Coach Prime. Think of the kid, and think. Was it a good move for him? Not for Coach Prime, not for the Colorado Buffs, but was it a good move for him? And you also have to remember this: guys leave for individual success, not team success. So you have to think about that too. It's been Hunt 919 Truth Sports. Ride with me. It's been Hunt 919 Truth Sports. Ride with me.